a little girl came running through the golden dust, just as the last sunlight disappeared behind the ranch. She stumbled twice, before reaching the cowboy standing beside his horse. Then she grabbed his coat with both tiny hands and looked behind her as if something terrifying was coming. "Please, don't let him take me back," she cried. 36-year-old Cole Dawson froze. He had never seen the child before, but the terror in her eyes was impossible to ignore. Behind her, a tall man in a black hat appeared at the far end of the ranch road. He didn't shout, he didn't hurry, he simply walked toward them with the confidence of a man who believed the girl already belonged to him. Cole slowly moved the child behind his shoulder. "Who are you?" he asked the stranger. The man stopped and answered, "Silas Vane, and that girl is coming home with me." Cole looked down at the trembling child. She whispered one sentence that changed everything. "That isn't my home." Before we uncover why an 8-year-old girl was willing to trust a complete stranger, rather than return with the man searching for her, like this video, and subscribe to Meaningful Impact 2.1, because this is a completely new Western mystery, filled with danger, courage, betrayal, and a fight Cole will never forget. Cole had spent years keeping his ranch far from trouble. His property sat beyond the last wooden buildings of Dry Creek, where the road narrowed between rocky hills, and the prairie stretched toward the mountains. He knew every rider who passed his fence, which was why the stranger's presence immediately bothered him. But the girl bothered him more. She was 8 years old, thin from hunger, with tangled light brown hair and frightened blue eyes. Her faded gray dress was covered with dust, and one of her boots was almost coming apart. Cole crouched. "What is your name, Mara?" "What?" She hesitated. "Mara Bell." Cole offered her his canteen. She drank too quickly. "Slow down." She lowered it. Dusk came closer. "Mara has been under my care," he said. "She ran away this morning." Cole stood. "She says she doesn't want to go." Silas smiled. "Children say all sorts of things when they're frightened." Mara immediately stepped behind Cole. "No," she whispered. "He knows I heard them." Cole looked at Silas. "Heard what?" Silas's expression changed for less than a second. That was enough. Cole didn't know the truth yet, but he knew Silas was hiding something. Silas reached inside his coat. Cole's hand moved toward his belt. Silas stopped. "I didn't come here for trouble." "Then don't bring it." Silas looked toward Mara. "You have no idea what you're involving yourself in." Cole answered, "Maybe not, but I know what I see." "What do you see?" "A scared child." Silas's jaw tightened, then he turned his horse around. "I'll give you until sunrise." Cole watched him disappear. Mara suddenly began shaking again. "What happens at sunrise?" She looked toward the mountains. "He'll bring the others." "The others who?" "The men who were with my father." Cole's eyes narrowed. "Your father?" Mara nodded. "He wasn't a bad man." "Here is he." "He disappeared." Cole expected her to say more. Instead, she pointed toward the old trail beyond the ranch. "He told me if anything happened, I should never go to town." "Why?" "Because someone there is helping Silas." That was the first real twist. Cole had assumed Silas was simply a dangerous man looking for a runaway child. Now he realized the danger might reach far deeper. That night, Cole let Mara sleep in the spare room, but before dawn, a horse suddenly screamed outside. Cole grabbed his coat and ran onto the porch. 3 riders were cutting across his pasture. Mara appeared behind him. She recognized one of them. "That man was at our house." Cole looked toward the barn. The riders weren't coming for him. They were heading toward Mara. Cole stepped down from the porch. "Stay inside." Mara grabbed his sleeve. "They won't stop." Cole looked at the 3 approaching riders. "Then neither will I." One rider charged. Cole moved aside at the last moment, seized the man's coat and pulled him from the saddle. The second rider attacked. Cole blocked the blow and forced him backward. The third man tried to reach the house. Mara suddenly screamed. "Cole!" He turned. The man had caught her. Cole sprinted across the yard. The struggle became desperate. Cole tackled the man away from Mara and shoved him into the snow-covered fence. But before the attacker could rise, Mara pointed toward the hills. "Look!" The fourth rider was coming, and this time, Silas Vane was leading him. Silas rode slowly into the ranch yard while his men surrounded Cole. Mara stood behind the porch railing, terrified. Silas looked at Cole. "You had your chance." Cole wiped the dust from his mouth. "You should have taken your men and left." Silas laughed. "You still don't understand." "Then explain." Silas looked toward Mara. "Her father wasn't the man she thinks he was." Mara shook her head. "Don't listen to him," Silas continued. "Her father stole something from the wrong people." Cole looked at Mara. "What did your father steal?" Mara's face changed. a name. Silas's smile vanished. Cole realized this was not about money, it wasn't about land, it wasn't about some hidden box, it was about identity. Mara's father had been a traveling stagecoach guard. Months earlier, he had discovered that someone inside Dry Creek had been secretly giving criminals the routes and schedules of every stagecoach passing through the territory. Before disappearing, he had learned the name of the person responsible. That person wasn't Silas, it was someone Cole knew. The town's most respected judge. Silas wasn't chasing Mara because she possessed evidence. He was chasing her because Mara was the only person who had heard her father say the name aloud. And there was something else. Her father hadn't disappeared by accident. He had hidden Mara with an old family friend, but Silas found her before the friend could get her out of the territory. Now Cole understood why Mara had been so terrified. If she told the wrong person the name, she would never be safe. Silas stepped forward. "Give her to me." Cole shook his head. "No, you're protecting a witness. I'm protecting a child." Silas drew his weapon. Cole did the same, but Mara suddenly shouted, "Wait!" Everyone turned. She walked out from behind the porch. Cole immediately moved toward her. "Stay behind me." Mara shook her head. "I know where my father went." Silence. Silas stared at her. "What did you say?" Mara pointed toward the northern ridge. "He told me to remember the old water tower." Silas's face went pale. Cole saw it. The reaction told him everything. Silas knew exactly what was there. Cole suddenly understood that the northern ridge wasn't just a hiding place. It was where Mara's father had been trying to escape. Silas charged. Cole stepped between them. The two men collided. Their fight moved from the porch into the muddy yard. Cole blocked Silas's strike and drove him backward against the fence. Silas recovered quickly and knocked Cole to the ground. Mara screamed. One of Silas's men moved toward her, but Mara grabbed a loose wooden bucket and threw it at his legs. He stumbled. Cole rose and rushed forward. The fight became chaotic as the ranch horses panicked and broke from their posts. One horse knocked over a fence section. Cole used the distraction to separate Mara from the attackers. Silas tried to escape toward the road. Cole caught him before he reached his horse. They struggled beside the barn until Silas finally fell to his knees. Cole stood over him. "Where is Mara's father?" Silas said nothing. Then a voice came from the road. "Right here." Everyone turned. A battered rider emerged from the morning fog. Mara stared at him. "Daddy." The man removed his hat. It was her father, Olive. Mara ran toward him. Cole stepped aside. The father dropped to his knees and held his daughter tightly. He had been hiding in the mountains after discovering the judge's betrayal, waiting for proof that Mara was safe. Now he finally had it. Silas's plan had collapsed, and the judge's secret was exposed before the town. But Mara wasn't ready to leave Cole. She walked back to him. "You stood between me and him." Cole smiled. "I told you I would. Can I come back sometimes?" Cole looked at her father. Her father smiled. "You'll always have a place here." Months later Mara visited the ranch every Sunday. Cole eventually built a small wooden swing beneath the cottonwood tree. Mara painted her name across it. Cole never removed it, because he had learned something that changed the way he saw his lonely ranch. A home wasn't measured by how many rooms it had. It was measured by whether someone could run toward its door when they were afraid. And on the day Mara first arrived, she had been running away from a man who wanted to control her future. She left the ranch months later knowing something completely different. She had people who would stand beside her, and Cole Dawson? He no longer rode alone. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Meaningful Impact 2.1 for more powerful Western stories of courage, justice, family and second chances. Because sometimes the strongest thing a cowboy can do isn't pull a trigger. Sometimes, it's simply standing between a frightened child and the darkness coming for her.